Good day and good night. Welcome to the High-Low Retrospective, the place where we rewind, rewatch, and rediscover the moments that changed the way we saw TV, heard TV, and in this case, felt TV. Today we're heading to the mid-1980s, a neon-lit Miami skyline glowing in the distance, cigarette smoke curling in slow motion, pastel blazers over t-shirts, a Ferrari Testarossa purring down Ocean Drive, and on that soundtrack, Phil Collins, Glenn Frey, Tina Turner. This one's about Miami Vice, the cop show that looked like an MTV music video, sounded like a Billboard chart song, and permanently rewired the way TV told stories. By 1984, American TV was drowning in procedural sameness. Cop shows like Hill Street Blues and Chips had their devoted followings, but they played by the rules. Dialogue heavy, plot driven, and shot with the flat, workmanlike style of most network dramas. Meanwhile, MTV had just turned 3 years old and was completely redefining how people consume music. Suddenly, image wasn't just part of the package, it was the package. Music videos weren't just sound with moving pictures, they were style, weaponized as substance. NBC was in trouble in the ratings, and executives were desperate for something new. And into that desperation stepped producer Michael Mann and writer Anthony Yerkovich with an idea that sounded like a punchline. MTV Cops. It wasn't just a catchy nickname, it was the DNA of the show.
Sneak week's coming as 2 undercover cops put it all on the line.
Freeze!
Their jobs can tear a family apart.
You're all players, Sonny. You get high on the action.
No!
And with your life on the line, sometimes only a partner can pull you through.
It's not your fault, man.
Miami Vice, Sunday, September 16th.
On the surface, it was a buddy cop drama about 2 undercover detectives, James Sonny Crockett, played by Don Johnson, and Ricardo Rico Tubbs, played by Philip Michael Thomas, both navigating Miami's underworld. But Miami Vice wasn't interested in following every lead to a neat resolution. It was about mood, it was about color, it was about cool. The cases were often grim: drug cartels, money laundering, political corruption, but the show filtered them through a dreamlike lens. Crockett and Tubbs could be in a gunfight one moment and cruising the causeway at night the next, bathed in pink and teal light, in the air tonight swelling in the background. See, the music wasn't just filler, it was storytelling. Every needle drop shaped the tone, deepened the emotion, and turned a police procedural into something closer to a pop art music video. That style was anchored by a strong ensemble: Edward James Olmos as stoic, steel-eyed Lieutenant Castillo, Saundra Santiago as the sharp-witted detective Gina, Olivia Brown as strong-willed detective Trudy Joplin, Michael Talbot as Stan Swidek, and John Deal as Larry Zito, each adding texture to Miami's world. And then there were the guest stars, many actors making appearances long before becoming notable stars of TV and film: Bruce Willis, Julia Roberts, Benicio del Toro, Liam Neeson, Helena Bonham Carter, Giancarlo Esposito, Stanley Tucci, Wesley Snipes, John Turturro, Ed O'Neill, Chris Rock, the late Michael Madsen, just to name a few, because the list goes on. And then you had the guest stars who were famous at the time, like Phil Collins, Miles Davis, James Brown, Pam Grier, NBA legend Bill Russell, and many more. Their appearances didn't just boost the ratings, they made Miami Vice a cultural time capsule of 1980s music, fashion, and celebrity. Anthony Yerkovich, who had cut his teeth on Hill Street Blues, he pitched the concept in 1983. Michael Mann came aboard and transformed it into a world where every frame looked like it had been art directed for an album cover. Costumes weren't just wardrobe, they were character. Crockett's linen suits and sockless loafers, iconic. Tubbs' silk shirts and gold chains, instant silhouette. The wardrobe team worked directly with European fashion houses, making Miami Vice the first network drama that could really double as a GQ editorial.
Our costume designer came back from Italy, and she had all of these new designers. Gianni Versace was relatively brand new then. I don't think he had one store. Neither did Giorgio Armani. And she came back, and she's handing out all of this stuff, and and I'm looking at it, and I'm going, these kind of look like pajamas.
I mean, you're kind of right.
Yeah. And so my style there of the T-shirt, no socks, no belt, was a function of how king hot it was.
And then there was Jan Hammer's synth-driven score, a character in its own right. His music didn't just underscore the action, it fused with it. His main theme hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it one of the rare TV theme songs to become a chart-topping single. Miami Vice staged whole scenes like long-form music videos. Minimal dialogue, maximal feeling, letting image and sound do the storytelling. The signature example is the pilot, Brother's Keeper. Crockett and Tubbs gliding through the Miami night toward a showdown while Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight plays out, scarcely interrupted. It isn't background, it's the scene's backbone, drum break arriving like fate. That montage became the show's calling card in a small TV revolution. What made it radical wasn't just tone, but money and method. In an era where network dramas leaned on cheap library cues, Miami Vice routinely licensed current hits and let them play long, reportedly spending $10,000 or more per episode to secure original recordings. That investment trained audiences to expect needle drops that advanced character and plot, not just vibe. Now, Jan Hammer's synth score welded the approach together, sleek, propulsive, and modern. His theme song didn't just open the show, it topped the Billboard Hot 100 in 1985, as I mentioned before. It won 2 Grammys, proof that the soundtrack itself had become pop culture. The series then went further, sometimes building episodes around songs. Glenn Frey's Smuggler's Blues didn't merely needle drop, it inspired an episode narrative with Frey guest starring, blurring the line between MTV and NBC. That cross-pollination was the point, pop music as a plot engine. Across 5 seasons, Miami Vice treated its track list like a co-star, licensing contemporary artists from Phil Collins and Tina Turner to U2 and Peter Gabriel, while the Museum of Broadcast Communications immortalized its nickname, MTV Cops. The result wasn't style over substance. Style was a substance, a new TV grammar where color, cut, and chorus carried story. When Miami Vice debuted in September of 1984, it became more than a hit TV show. It was a cultural phenomenon. Viewers weren't just tuning in for crime stories, they were buying the lifestyle. In terms of fashion impact, the show popularized the t-shirt under Armani jacket look, pastel sport coats, and sockless loafers, transforming men's fashion in the mid-1980s. Designers like Hugo Boss and Versace were consulted to maintain that streamlined, European-infused style. Ray-Ban Wayfair sunglasses, they became hugely, explosively popular, combined with the boost from risky business. They sold around 720,000 pairs in 1984 alone, climbing toward 1.5 million by 1986. And the show's impact on tourism and urban revival, well, Miami Vice's glossy portrayal of Miami sparked renewed interest in South Beach and the Art Deco district. Iconic buildings were restored and the city transformed into the glamorous playground viewers saw on the screen. Of course, not everyone was sold. Some critics argued that Miami Vice sacrificed plot for aesthetics, that it was more concerned with looking cool than making sense, and they weren't entirely wrong. But in hindsight, that was the point. It wasn't trying to be Hill Street Blues. It was trying to be something new, a hybrid of TV drama and the MTV visual grammar that had infiltrated pop culture. The ripple effect was huge. Shows from Crime Story to Twin Peaks to Breaking Bad owe something to Miami Vice's use of music and mood as a storytelling engine.
There's a number of television shows that maybe would give a tip of the hat to Miami Vice.
Miami Vice didn't just borrow from music videos, it rewrote TV's visual DNA. Its combination of pop hits, stylized cinematography, and fashion-forward design created a blueprint that still echoes across TV and film today. Directors like Michael Mann molded its aesthetic into cinematic form, while modern series such as Euphoria and Atlanta, they've adopted its technique, mood through music, storytelling through imagery. Great example, Euphoria's season 2 finale uses this haunting performance of Labyrinth's I'm Tired to transcend rhythm, creating atmosphere and emotion the way Miami Vice did with In the Air Tonight. Meanwhile, Atlanta's Teddy Perkins episode eschews traditional comedic structure, leaning into unsettling soundscapes, minimal dialogue, and horror-infused visuals, sharing Miami Vice's sense that style is the story. And the echoes extend to film as well. Top Gun Maverick leans on nostalgic textures, reintroducing Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone to evoke emotional continuity, while Lady Gaga's Hold My Hand channels 1980s power ballad dramatics for modern blockbuster gravity. In the age of TikTok and Instagram aesthetics, the principle remains unchanged. The right song, the right image at the right moment can carry everything. It's not just style over substance, it's how substance feels. So that's the high and low retrospective on Miami Vice, the show that blurred the line between television and music video, between cop drama and pop art. It gave us a vision of law enforcement drenched in neon, scored to the beat of the Billboard Top 40 or Top 100, and dressed for the cover of Esquire. It didn't just change how TV looked, it changed how TV sounded. And in the end, maybe that was Miami Vice's greatest case, proving that style could be substance after all. If you've never seen Miami Vice before, do yourself a favor, check out a couple of episodes. If you have seen it before, maybe it's time for a revival. And let me know in the comments what you think of Miami Vice. Until next time, stay sharp, stay nostalgic, and remember...
I feel good. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Hi, guys. Go about what you're doing. Da-na-na-na.